Today we'll dive into the future of NFTs, the future of Web3, and how that all applies to actual utility and businesses that are actually starting to roll out into all of this stuff that you guys are going to love. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back into Tech Path. Today's going to have a unique guest, that a gentleman that I've known for quite some time, and we've kind of been innovating in the restaurant space for a lot. Many of you guys already know my background there, but it shows kind of the connection to where a lot of what is going to be happening in Web3 is actually starting to come through. The company we'll be talking to is Wow Bao. If you're in Chicago, you may recognize this brand. This, of course, is a Bao brand. They do a great job on delivering fast casual concepts. They do also some interesting things around dark kitchens, which is where their brand is delivered through other aspects out there in the restaurant industry as well. I'm going to go to a clip and play a little bit of where this brand has kind of come from, and also how unique they are in terms of how they've, in some ways, predicted the future. Listen in.
I think when people talk about what's coming up or what's next or how does the future change, restaurateurs need to get outside of the box, and it's no longer the brick and mortar is enough. And as Chicago recently, within the last 2 years, passed and allowed food trucks to hit the streets, we like to be innovators, we like to be ahead of the pack, so we jumped on it. Inside each of the WowBao stores, we have a freezer case where our product's available to go. We've seen such success with people buying it frozen to take home in stovetop, steam, or microwave that we've reached out to different grocery stores.
You guys were maybe one of the pioneers. Everybody always asks, of course, Chipotle is setting the stock market on fire with probably one of the hottest stocks ever in the restaurant industry. And I think a lot of people are still questioning whether or not the valuation is there, and you know, a lot of those kinds of things. Do you feel that that is still out there?
I don't think we stopped with the Chipotles and the Panera. I think there's room for the 1,000-unit person every meal category, or every type of.
Okay, so let's get into kind of the innovations that you guys have pretty much pioneered. I know of no one else doing this.
Yeah, and in January of 2020, we opened up with a sister restaurant in the suburbs of Chicago, selling our product, third-party delivery, no brick and mortar store.
So this is a virtual brand within another restaurant.
Well, it's not a virtual brand. I mean, it is our brand, but yes, it's a virtual kitchen. We believe now we found a way to help restaurants survive during this pandemic. We did not create this in the last 3 weeks because of COVID. We started this journey 5 months ago.
We had self-ordering kiosks in 2010. We had, you guys will laugh, but we had online ordering in 2010. In fact, in 2010, we had an app in the App Store. There were 300,000 apps only at that time. So we started investigating the NFT space and how we wanted to play in that world. It's more about how do we enhance this rewards program that we got? How do we grow loyalty? But here's the kicker for me. You have to be willing to have the headache. However, if you take on the headache, you're allowed to help write the narrative going forward. We can, I don't want to say screw up right now, but there's such an opportunity for a learning curve from us and for the guest that we can do things that people 18 to 36 months from now, when everybody's playing in the space, they won't be able to be forgiven as much. And then there's a group in New York City called Devour. And Devour is like another third-party delivery platform. I mean, they're 3 or 5 months old, I think. So we brought them into the mix. And my goal, where I'm trying to go with this, is when you're in the metaverse and you're wearing your Apple VR goggles, or you're playing Fortnite or ROBLOX, and you're in your game, that you stumble upon one of our vending machines. Push the buttons on the vending machine and food gets delivered to you. You know, that's gonna be the grand slam for me in regards to the metaverse and where we're going with Web3.
If you just look at some of our wins in the past, even the Chipotle, I mean, investing in Chipotle all the way back in 2009, seeing where Chipotle was going, understanding that, Geoff and I both have kind of been targeting that for some time. He mentioned a little bit about Devour. As you guys know, full disclosure, I'm an actual advisor on that company. And they've, of course, their token price have exploded, but really the bigger thing with Devour has been some of the connections that they've made, not only in the restaurant space, but also in the food ordering space as a whole. So that also is going to be a very interesting component in Web3, which is why you guys are watching this here today. I'm going to go to another clip here, and then we'll bring in our guest here in a second. This is the ROBLOX CEO, and why this clip is important will connect to what's happening with WowBao. Listen in.
How far off are we from interchangeable NFTs and the like, and whether you think in the future people really will be able to transfer out or transfer in?
I think brands themselves, for example, Nike, is going to play a role in deciding how their virtual goods move from place to place. I also think that the technology is going to be constantly improving. We technically have a long vision to go, and I think brands will play a big part in determining that interchange.
So ROBLOX CEO really getting into understanding what NFTs are, and I think we've seen already a lot of brands that have started to move into this space. One of the big ones, of course, has been Nike. We'll go to that in a second. Last up here, of course, was the announcement that WowBao made yesterday. They go all in on Metaverse with the launch of the Dim Sum Palace on Roblox. So that's the news, and we wanted to dive in a little deeper. So we thought, hey, let's bring the CEO and my old friend, Mr. Geoff Alexander, into the show. Great to see you.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So Geoff, all right, you got a chance.
You want to talk about how I've aged over the years, how I wear the same piece of clothing in every interview? I mean, let's talk about that.
Hey, well, you know, I try to stay in the black on black as well, so it's fine. Hey, listen, you know, Steve Jobs wore one kind of outfit, so it's not really a bad thing. It's okay.
Yeah, but he wore black also. You learned from him. Me, I'm all over the place. I also have to learn how to be like you. I got a block from here down, like the belly roll that I have in some of those shots. It's terrible. Let's get down to business.
Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. So first thing I want to jump onto is, of course, the WowBao Dim Sum Palace. There, you guys, of course, rolled out on Roblox. This is a big move for, you know, restaurants to kind of move in this direction. We've already seen, first of all, the amount of gamers that are out there, but also the demand that's starting to happen within players, etc. Explain a little bit about how the process works with your loyalty platform, the Hot Buns Club. Can you give me some explanation?
Yeah, so we have 700 virtual restaurants or virtual kitchens around the country selling our product. And in 2022, we wanted to get people off the third-party delivery apps and ordering from WowBao so we can collect data and really get involved with the community. And we launched a rewards program where you spend $1, you get a point. And that started to grow at a certain rate. And then the NFT became a very big buzzword. And it took us a while to get into NFTs. Of course, right after we launched or right before we launched, you know, the buzz was dying down. In May of 2023, we launched an NFT component where we moved our rewards program to a loyalty program where you could own an NFT. And then with that, you'd have some exclusive benefits, discounts on ordered food, discounts on our merchandise store, double points, and so on.
Right.
As we continue to grow in the space in the metaverse and recognize where the consumer is, and it's very important to us to always be where the consumer is, gaming is a natural evolution. And there's, I don't know the exact stats, 60%, 70% of the Roblox user is over 17 years old. You know, this is not a bunch of 5-year-olds who are playing video games. We recognize that there's a way for us to combine gaming and in real life. And what we did is in the Roblox space, in Dim Sum Palace, we created a scavenger hunt where you move throughout the space, you interact with some of the characters, you actually interact with one of our vending machines, which if you heard earlier in the segment, you showed me talking about wanting vending machines. And at the end of that scavenger hunt, you get to claim a UGC, a bow head for your character. We launched 10,000 of these bow heads. I think in the last 24 hours, about 1,000 of them have been claimed already. And to get that, you have to link your Roblox account to our Hot Buns Club account. So it's allowing us to grow our database, grow who we can interact with. And then you also get, for doing that, you get a coupon for a free box of our bow from a grocery store, as well as the chance to win bow for a year, 52 boxes over the course of the year. So what we're doing is we are making our rewards program more available to people with added benefits for the Roblox user.
Of course, you guys have already, just in a couple of days, you've already hit over 4,000 visits.
Couple of days. It's been 27 hours. 27
hours since the launch. So good news. I mean, I think that we're seeing, you know, more leaders within the brand side. There's been a handful out there. Obviously, we'll talk about Starbucks and Nike in a second. What has been the big issues for you guys to kind of break down this wall and start the process?
It's adoption more than anything else, right? And it's hard as I said, we started the process in 22 to 23 to join the NFTs, right? And get launch NFTs. But what happened when we launched? The world decided NFTs were a negative thing. And now here we are, we launched ROBLOX yesterday. We are so thrilled about this. We think this is the right course to go forward, but we're battling this negative story about how Starbucks is leaving the metaverse.
Right.
So what happens with adoption is, and I believe in being an early adopter, we've always been at the forefront of technology and we play the long game. We're not looking for the big splash today. Obviously the big splash today is press and getting our name out there, but the adoption and the use of it and how it can really be a benefit to our brand and to the consumer is down the road. And it might be yards down the road, it might be miles down the road, but we are playing because we believe in it. And as I said in one of the earlier segments you played, is when others start to join this segment, we're going to be light years ahead of them. We're going to have other ideas. We're going to be able to add to this game and have different games and different ways to interact and different ways to bridge that gap of in real life versus online.
For users to get these, are these being awarded as an NFT? How is the award actually occurring inside the game?
So in the game, what you would do is you would win, right? That UGC, that bow head that you can then claim and put on your character. But to get that, you must join our Hot Buns program.
Okay.
So what the win for us is we're getting data, we're growing our loyalty program. The win for the consumer is you're getting that bow head, and now you're getting exclusive benefits that other people don't have. Again, discounts on delivery food, discounts on merchandise, double points and rewards, right? And now we've also created a way to communicate with you outside of the game. You also get in the game, you get that in real life perk that you now are able to download a coupon to go and get a free box of WowBao from your local grocer.
So that's utility that's been done. So you've bridged what is in-game activities to a real life loyalty platform that in essence has NFTs in it that you could hold and use as a a utility NFT for gaining value, right?
Sorry, also, yes. So but when you join the Hot Buns Club through ROBLOX, you are gifted an NFT now. It's a randomized digital collectible specific to you only. It'll become yours. Whereas before, when we launched this program, we were charging an annual fee, and part of that annual fee got you your own collectible. Now we're gifting you one. So it's a badge of honor, right? If you love our brand, now you have something no one else does. If you're new to our brand, you now have something that makes you special and exclusive. And everybody at the end of the day wants something personalized and exclusive. So we are gifting these NFTs. Now, will they have value over time? Will we make them more valuable? Will we give specials to those people who have them? The world is our choice, right? We can do anything, and we can change on a dime and enhance and go. And that's really how we see this space. We don't know how the space is going to be utilized in the next 5 months, 12 months, 24 months, but we can dictate how we want to be in the space and help guide how it will be used.
Well, it starts to really translate too, as well as kind of the online, offline brand IP that you guys are building for WowBao, which is creating a whole new connectivity point, both in game as well as in the loyalty app as well. And this is something we've talked about quite a bit of how restaurants could make this leap forward. We're showing some things on screen here, obviously, with your vending machine there within the ROBLOX game. You look at this, Geoff, and you think about where the potentials could go. You just mentioned, hey, there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of blue water here, kind of going to the next level. There has been a bit of a struggle for the industry to tie in things like online ordering, which you guys have done through Devour. And I wanted to play a clip of Shelly over at Devour talking about this issue, because I want to get your opinion on this. Let's go ahead and play a clip.
We needed the OLO integration, and we accomplished that. I'm having conversations. 7-Eleven is ready to come in. Taco Bell, Burger King, Dave's Hot Chicken, Big Chicken, of course, Geoff and WowBao, Whataburger, Burger King, Dunkin' Donuts, and Red Bull. Taco Bell was also fun because I got to show them the actual prototype. There is no doubt that this is about to catch fire.
So she's talking about a lot of brands starting to make this move where we will see direct online ordering, use case of Web3, blockchain to kind of create that collectible, or in some cases paying with a token like DPAY, which ties this all into what Devour is doing, all of which has kind of been centered around what you guys have done. And of course, the connection with things like Flaunt and what is happening now with ROBLOX. I mean, there's a lot happening here. The next move I'm looking at is what happens when we start to see things in, you know, platforms like Fortnite and others starting to expand upon this. Do you guys have other plans in the roadmap for the future of what you guys are doing?
I mean, I think you know me well to say that we always have plans and ideas in the hopper, right? I would love to see WowBao in Fortnite. I mean, I have a 13-year-old son who can't get off the game, and I know he's not playing with other 13-year-olds. He's playing with many adults. And it was interesting. As soon as the news broke and the game got online yesterday, the amount of people who have reached out to us who say, oh, you should look at this video game, or I can make a connection to this, or have you thought about that? I mean, there's so many people who see the benefit and the opportunity to be in this space, and they also see the void that can be filled by us doing it. And that's what I love about being an early adopter, is you get more opportunity to try things out at both low risk and high reward. And I talked about this earlier too. You're forgiven if you mess up, if you stumble, you're forgiven because you tried. And that's all that it's about. It's about trying and then being part of it. What you're showing on the screen right now with Taco Bell, I think I would love to see a WowBao restaurant in one of these games. Now, I don't necessarily want to see it blown up and shot apart, but I want to see people interacting with it. And it was fun yesterday when the ROBLOX dropped. You know, I went into the game to, you know, and I would walk up to other characters and say, what do you think? You know, no one knew who I was, right? I mean, I'm some random guy in ROBLOX. But the amount of people or characters that were running around the game and trying it out and thinking it was fun and running to get the bow head. And we actually, there's a speakeasy that's hidden. There's a hidden room inside the game, which is where you have to go to find the collectible. And it's just very cool to see how people are embracing it.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier Starbucks ditching their Odyssey NFT program. We covered that quite a bit. We actually were a bit critical of the original launch for many reasons. For those of you watching this right now, go back and watch our Starbucks videos about 1.5 years ago when this program, when Odyssey launched. We made some predictions that there would be some challenges there, and unless they made some changes. And I'm not necessarily saying this is a bad thing. I think maybe Starbucks might be prepping to re-enter just under a different model. So they may have used this as a discovery, you know, test to find out what works, doesn't work. And I can't imagine, because their brand IP is so powerful, do you think brands are going to do more of this, where they come in, test things, drop out, come back to the drawing board, and then try to rebuild? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think that's, if you are a large brand, large company, and you have many people working there and the pockets for it, 100% are you going to go in and out, right? Because you want the best experience. I mean, think of it almost like a restaurant LTO, right? You're going to drop this certain flavor pizza, the special hamburger, whatever it may be, for a limited time, like the McRib in McDonald's, right? They drop this thing and now it became such a staple, it sells out in days when they bring it back. So look, I have no insight into Starbucks. I can't speak for them. But what I believe that they have got incredible data and learnings from what they did, that they can go back now and create something better than what they had before, and then test that out. 100%, I think they have the ability to do that. Will they do that? I don't know. But I think that based on how the world is moving at such an accelerated rate, I don't see how they could not come back in some form.
Well, and there's a value to the original NFTs under Odyssey that I think many people are trying to figure out what happens to those assets. And I'm guessing that Starbucks is probably going to be working some sort of migration path. We may see this even pop up in value in other platforms like Devour that could be because of their food ordering. So there's some intriguing elements there. And I would say, though, I mean, you're a CEO of a restaurant brand. You've been out there for a long time. You've seen kind of the wars of what's happened of innovation, whether it's mobile, online ordering, third-party delivery, all the things that happen. So I think your opinion would matter that, you know, for a Starbucks, go out, garner a bunch of information, get the data you need, come back, recoil, and get a solution out there that is kind of unstoppable.
All I heard was you called me old. But look, what I would really hope, and I think could be very valuable, obviously the data is extremely important to Starbucks, right? Because they want to do the best thing for their company. If they decide to leave the space entirely, and I know that they never will do that because leadership changes, ideas change, and the world changes. But what great information they have to help the rest of us who want to be in the space, or to just help the narrative behind the scenes. So I really hope and encourage them to take the learnings that they have and not just file it away in a drawer, but how can we make the entire experience better for anybody who wants to be in the space or is willing to be in the space right now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you look at that in terms of the successes. Nike, of course, I would say .swoosh has been the winner out there when it comes to the element of NFTs interaction within what we call phygitals, the physical and digital, which you now have in place. And if you look at, kind of what they have done already, they had already developed the function of, the ability to get these NFTs inside things like the Epic Game Store. So there's been a lot already moving in that direction. And now, remember, this is an update that they had. Let me kind of just jump up here for the future of .swoosh. But this is one of the things I wanted to highlight. We recognize how important it is for you to have control of your digital collectibles. And so in the second half of this year, we'll be allowing you to off-ramp your collectibles to your own wallet. So kind of like what you're doing, essence, I guess, it's really matching it one for one. And that way you'll be able to trade them with others on marketplaces that guarantee royalties to creators. Again, getting back into that IP connectivity of where Nike is going. Nike has been very successful on this, and have done a ridiculous amount of revenue in digital goods. So
the issue is restaurateurs are dinosaurs, right? We don't have, we have all this great ideas, and we know food better than anything else. And there's all this great tech, but the tech and the restaurant don't always work together. We're not out there building stuff, we're buying someone else's stuff. So it's expensive for the restaurant industry, and it makes us change our business model. So to go and take a leap of faith like WowBao is doing right now is not for every restaurateur. It's difficult. It's hard to justify it, especially in the restaurant industry. Your margins are so small. When you spend $1, you want to see an immediate return. I do not expect to see an immediate return from this. I hope I do. I mean, I look at it differently also. The press that we're getting in the last 24 hours is an immediate return that's getting me opportunities to speak with you and to speak with others and to get the brand name out there about what we're doing. And we're hoping it's going to drive consumer sentiment to our CPG product that we want to see continue and get in people's hands. And we want to create that conversation. So we do expect to see rewards for this, but everything takes time. I mean, my favorite story is we started using self-ordering kiosks in 2010. Yep. Now it's mainstream because 5 years ago or whatever it was, McDonald's decided to put in 14,000 stores. 5 years ago, we were already doing it for a decade. Yeah. I mean, and we reap the benefits every day about that. But as an ecosystem, right? It wasn't mainstream. This is not going to be mainstream tomorrow. So it's hard for restaurants to want to get involved with it. But is the ability and the opportunity and the fun, that's the thing. When you go out and be social, you go to a restaurant, right? You have food and enjoyment. So in all these gaming opportunities, especially a lot of these games now in Fortnite and so on, you have to fuel up, right? You have to eat something to stay healthy during the game. What a great opportunity to go grab a Taco Bell burrito to game up. Genius.
I like it.
Right?
Well, and I think the key, to your point, I feel we've had this conversation in our studio with our research team quite a bit, is I feel like this sector, meaning Web3, is probably going to advance a little bit more. And I could go on for hours on why this could move much faster than some of the tech cycles we've seen in the past. And that's the intriguing thing, I think, that the restaurant industry is faced with moving. Speaking of that, I want to go to one more clip before I let you go. And this is for the doubters out there, because this kind of talks about how one of the biggest brands has already started making moves. Listen into this clip.
So, every Halloween since 2000, our Chipotle fans have looked forward to our annual burrito tradition. But over the years, things started to change. We started to realize that actually Gen Z didn't know what burrito was. So enter Web3. We were closely watching as both Gen Z and Gen Alpha entered the metaverse. So enter the burrito maze on ROBLOX. Within 3 minutes of launch, Players flocked the entire experience. Roblox experienced a global outage, and the internet went absolutely even more crazy. Year to date, we've had over 8 million plus gameplays, and this actually became Chipotle's biggest social volume moment of all time. And it became our brand's biggest PR moment ever. And we continued to break record after record after record, including business ones. This actually became our largest digital ordering day of all time.
All right, so there it is right there, Geoff. I mean, biggest social record, biggest PR event for Chipotle. Chipotle is not a slouch by any means. They are the titan in the fast casual sector. So it's just a matter of time, man. I think you're going to have a lot of friends joining you out there in Roblox and many other game integrations. So it's going to be fun to watch, that's for sure. Last question to you. When you look out right now and you think about the online ordering integration and the opportunity, especially with third party and what we've seen in e-commerce, how big of a leap forward to Web3 do you think we'll see for online ordering? Is this something that is going to explode much like what happened with Uber Eats?
I mean, we believe, or I should say, I believe, and I'm driving my team to believe with me, that people are getting more and more immersed in the digital space. And they are so fixated on what's going on digital, whether it's gaming or social or even work alone, that you can't pull yourself out of it. So we believe, and again, I believe, that we have to be where the consumer is and then be able to feed their need and reach them and make it easier for them to be able to order while they're in that space. The greatest thing I think we can do, and I said it earlier, is if you're in a video game and you come across a WowBao vending machine and you could go up to it and order food off of it and just the doorbell rings and there's DoorDash bringing you your food, that would be a great moment for us. And we believe that the digital space and the growth of it and the opportunity is only going to become bigger for delivery inside of it as people don't want to stop doing what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Geoff Alexander, CEO of WowBao. Great having you on and good seeing you, my friend. Take care.
Appreciate you. Thanks, Paul.
All right. So you guys are tuned in, maybe now on the podcast side of things. Make sure and jump over to the YouTube channel. Get the rest of the experience. If you're not subscribed to the channel, we do ask that you do that as well. And get in on our Diamond Circle. That's one of the best ways to get into our club. And it is a great place to get additional content. We also do things that we don't do here on YouTube or on the podcast. So make sure to do that. Check me on X, which is just @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.